So, I've done a little bit of testing. I think this is going to be the hardest map in the game. I think this is going to be the hardest map in the game. So we start by... Oh wait, let me make sure you're the armor slayer guy. Yeah, so we want to end up here. So we start with a heavy spear to the face. Holy shit, the hag in white. Lie. Time to become a J.D. Vance archetype again. We killing the Pope in this one, kiddos. Yeah. We killing the Pope once more. So we shine bright like a diamond. Ooh, nice dodge, Demeter. Very nice, very nice. I don't remember there being reinforcements at all. I actually didn't check. I actually didn't check if there were reinforcements. I don't think there are either, though. Like, I don't remember any. Off the top of my head. It's funny how Zero Growth's changed this map, because this is almost like a breather chapter in vanilla. The biggest thing is... So, this probably won't actually be the hardest map for us. I think the biggest thing is that... we haven't really, like, scaled up, and the enemies start out much more aggressive than I would like them to be. All of those assassins up north, as well as the people on the left and right, and the generals are immediately aggressive, which is a bit spooky. But I do at the very least have turn 1 planned out. Endgame 2 will probably be an issue. It's very claustrophobic. Can you remind me, does Endgame 2 have reinforcements? I think it does, right? But they're like a little bit slow. Endgame 2 is also probably going to be an issue, though. Jason has a Hoplon guard because, and this is my fucking, my rant. Raging Leaf has 10 crit, and so he faces 9 crit from this guy. The Raging Leaf Wolf Bale Rapier situation is sad. Unfortunate. Unfortunate doesn't even begin to describe my series. It has reinforcements from the stairs. Yeah, I thought so. Endgame 1 and Endgame 3 do not have reinforcements, though, right? Like, that's sort of the difference. Old Man Gaming! It's the only endgame with reinforcements. Chat, do you consider this like endgame 0? I kind of do. Just because, like, you know, we gotta kill the Pope. We gotta kill the Pope. The Pope of America. So yeah, Hoplon guard to prevent the 9 crit. Because Jason died to the 9 crit like 5 times in testing, and I was sick of it. Twang! Oh, dodge. The dodge tank. Twang! Stab! There's also the fact you get 2 very strong units, and 2 units get buffed after this chapter for endgame. It's... who? Kyra and... Laritus? Is there some... No! Oh, missing that 88 is actually pretty bad. Euphroxy gets A support, White Tide Combustion. True. Funny enough, Fructuoso has never gotten hit by this 15% crit in my testing, which is why I gave the Hoplon Guard to Jason, because I was sick of Jason having Jason moments. Don't worry, she's fine. She would get doubled in fucking— No! Oh, she didn't get doubled. Okay, this is a fucking shit show. We just need to reset. Yo, missing an 88 and an 81. We're cursed, y'all. We're cursed. That's okay. That's okay. Missing that combustion, I think, gave us the excuse to reset. Me when I get hit by the cleave bow of agony and despair. Fraud Yi and Fraud Yaxia, you need to pull it together. Fraudaxia. Fraudaxia, yeah. Euphrodia. Fraud Yi. I'm surprised how base General Euphroxia wasn't doubled by the assassin. It was the rally. It was the rally. The rally pushed her over the edge. But honestly, I mean, let that serve as a demonstration as to why she's so awesome and cool and good. General Euphroxia is, one of the units of all time. Is anyone else surprised that Pericles made the fucking cut for this chapter? Cause, like, I'll be honest, I am, but... You know, there's no need for flight in here. There's, like, what, 3 pillar tiles and then some water at the very fucking end of the game? Or end of the map? Our old man must game. All of her options are great to good. Yeah. See, Laertes can hit a 72, but Euphroxia can't hit an 81. I think this shows us which unit is the better old person, and... and which unit sucks donkey butts. This just shows how low enemy stats are. I mean, like, what's the assassin's speed? 25 AS isn't low. it's lower than I would have expected, but, like, that's gonna double most people. It's just, generally Euphroxia, she starts out with 20 speed. Oh, I forgot to give him the Steel Axe instead. We'll give him the Killer. It'll be fine. I was experimenting with different axes, and I was like, oh, he's one combat away from getting silver. And then I just, like, I gave him the silver, and I didn't give him a Steel Axe. What if Fructuoso is crit now? If Fructuoso gets crit, I'll say, well, Fructuoso just got crit. And that'll be wild, chat. I did a little bit of arrow dancing, I think. If we're on the same RN string and I just did that, that'd be very silly. Okay, we're on a different RN string. Because this guy hit Telemus twice instead of once. Just don't get 15% crit. Missing that 65 is actually obnoxious, but we can make do. As long as this guy dies. There we go. Okay. The good thing is, because of the lack of reinforcements, after this, like, opening, we're kind of gravy. Oh, I didn't mention this. When I was, so at one point, I was, like, doing testing, and the Brave Sword just fucking disappeared from the convoy. I got so scared. Thankfully, I had accidentally staggered saves. But it was, ridiculous. That could be... Could that be Laertes? That is Laertes. That is. Chat gassed him up, and I was a doubter. And look at me now. I'm Boo-Boo the Fool. Brave Sword combos with the Assassin skill? Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't. Assassin's just really good. Very good class. and I believe 32, yeah, so you live. Alright, so the left-hand side's kind of handled. The right-hand side's in a bit of trouble. A spot of trouble? Can we... You got the Sword Slayer. Oh, right. I gave you the Sword Crusher for that reason. You don't double. Okay. Yeah, so this is... Hello, John problem. Visit up to Lamus. Combustion, this one. In a normal run, Lopez stops being babied once promoted. I'm wondering if 4 counter is so good. Yeah. And he just, like, he has the speed for it. And then we combustion you. Who would have thought the side I'd be struggling on would be the side with 2 super Telemuses? I guess when you put all of the good units on the other side, it makes sense. Alright, parry, Brave Axe, use your best friend's Brave Axe. Oh, the actor should... Alright, Kyra, kill this person. Fun map fact, the earliest versions of this map had you move your army in a C shape. Dolus said sleep, Pate, gain, recover the first time he used a sleep staff. Restore. Restore. Right, okay. That's interesting. That is a fun fact. Pericles! Hag accuracy moment. Thankfully, we've got Demeter here. Why isn't Best Grandpa the overlay instead of the Pate? 33 attack. $29. Okay, so you live. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're good. The fraud in orange. Oh no, the dragoons start moving now. Okay, at least this dragoon is dead. Brave sword moments. The Great Knight in white. The Gramps in orange. The perfectly sweet old man in orange. I fixed it for you. Meanwhile, the fucking fraud in orange is Pericles, missing his stupid fucking... missing his stupid fucking Brave Axe moment. Okay. Oh, you take up so much of the map. Okay. Are you doing Lopez coin stocks? He died. He died. He died. You got Sword Slayer, so Ice Spear... Would Ice Spear count as triangle? Only at one range, right? If we combustion you? Okay, we start with the Fenrir. Is Laertes still a meme, or is he genuinely good in 0% growths? I mean, I thought he would still be a meme, but I'm Boo Boo the Fool, because he's actually been quite helpful. Once he got his third boost, he was just a better... I say quite helpful, like, he's probably one of the best units on our team, like, genuinely. Now that he's got his third boost. Because he's just a better version of Jing Yi. I guess -1 move, but that's about to get fixed, right? There's a reason Purple Boy hit the bench. He's a solid pre-promote you get in Chapter 19. Yeah, I tried fielding him with each boost, and most of them were not enough. Pyro goes over here. you weighed down by Fenrir. Yeah, so we can stop you from getting doubled. Okay, and now there's these two. If we cleave bow you, the bolt axe. .37 attack. Okay, so what we do is Euphroxia, Thunderbolt. Nope. Luna? Nope. Get rallied and then Luna. I put Leatrice in my chapter team because chapter 19 team, I really see his actual stats now. I'll maintain that in a growths context, his stats are underwhelming at each boost point, right? Like, he's one of our strongest, but that's a result of, you know, the weirdness around hashtag zero growths moments. But I also, like, I've been thinking about it, and I feel like I need to revisit him on the tier list. Because I think I might have been sleeping on him a little tiny bit. And the Laertes fans went wild. His weapon ranks are also bad. His weapon ranks are still bad. We don't have silvers yet. Oh, we got the silver bow. We don't have silver lance. And we've glued that fucking scroll to him. So... You speak of this tier list, is it viewable anywhere? I showed it off on a previous stream, and I'm going to, compile the unit reviews from this stream and then put the tier list at the end of that. Yo! The Toso! Danny showed the older tier list at the start of one of the Morgan arc streams. Yeah, I don't remember which stream it was, I'm sorry. I know that's a little unhelpful. I would throw it up now, but since these are getting, like, put on Ice Rider, I don't want to, like, throw it up in the middle of a chapter. Maybe I'll pull it up during, you know, preps before endgame. But it's got a little bit of stuff that's outdated. Like, I moved Doll around in anticipation of the buffs. I think I was too generous to him. Which is ironic, because I didn't move him that much. He's the best of them now. He went from the worst of them to the best of them, but, like, I don't know, they all kind of suck. Zero Ghost probably changes your opinion a good bit. Not that much. Because the thing is that, right, like, I can recognize that while Laertes is super strong for us, and I did sort of undervalue his boosts, I mean, one, it still costs more money than it's worth, right? But two, and this is the big one, is I'll maintain that in a growths context, you've just got better options. The 2%. I don't like Doll, but 15 strength and 15 magic is fine. It can work. Yeah, no, it's fine. Like, that's why I say he's the best of them, but they're all still pretty bad. You gotta remember the context. Like, this is a game with an actual cast. There's no Sophias and Wendy's, which is, I think, a kind of annoying trap that Fire Emblem fans fall into. It's the, you know, well, I beat the game with them. You know, I've had this conversation a bunch, both about mainline and especially hacks, where, you know, if you say a unit is bad in, like, a hack or, like, engage in 3 houses, where the floor for a good unit, or the floor for a unit in general is just a lot higher, the response is always like, well, I beat the game with them. Yeah, I mean, people have beaten the game with Wendy, right? Like, whoop-de-frickin-do. 32, knocks you down to 17. Perfect. Plato is a Wendy / Sophia. I actually disagree. Plato's a Nino. Plato's on the level of Nino. Which I think is different in the sense that Nino, at the very least, does actually offer you a legitimate payoff for the training arc. Whereas, like, Wendy and Sophia, you know, and I've been saying this in the Final Fantasy III polls, is like, Sophia's pretty good if you get her to 2022. Because the Onion Knight discourse, right? But, like, there's still, you know, a druid in a game where druids aren't good. A general in a game where generals aren't good, right? Like, and their growths aren't, like, snowball-y. Like, Plato will actually snowball. Sophia and Wendy, yeah, they don't give payoff. Their starting stats are abysmal. I would say their stats are not abysmal after training. They're just, like, on the level of your other units, as opposed to, like, you know, Pluto says, hey, train me and I'll have, like, the best stats ever. And, like, that part was not a lie. 0 lies spotted. This kills, right? Yeah, now it's 24. Okay. So we do this. Sophia's got bad skill and speed. Wendy's skill is also bad. Her strength takes a while to start getting good. I mean, when I say, like, good stats, I mean, what is it? Sophia is theoretically the best warper in the game. That's the like, the sauce. That's the Wendy sauce. Or Sophia sauce. Boars isn't even particularly good. Boars' biggest contribution is the Chapter 2 take drop moment. That and, like, very inaccurate filler combat during the first, like, 5 chapters, right? Like, you do filler chip and you miss, and you do filler chip and you miss. If I remember, Wendy has worse stats than Boars and very similar growths. I genuinely don't remember how her growths compared to Boars. I do know that Boars falls into that funny space where most Armor Knights, or where a lot of Armor Knights fall in, where for some reason his defense growth is bad and his speed growth is good. You know, Doga, Radiant Dawn Gatri. There's all these guys that just have that as their gimmick. You want to talk about the Doga archetype, that's it. Boars will be truly defined in my mind by having never got 1 level on my first FE6 playthrough and died in Chapter 5. That's a Boars moment. That's a Boars moment. Boars is like one of the... I feel like Boars is so weird to talk about in terms of that, because he's like not a good unit. But I do think he's a unit that's, like, overly shit on. Because people forget that, like, you know, chapters 1 through 7 are all hands on deck. When I think of Boars, I think of his HP, which means he can't tank anything. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, is it's the fucking FE, GBA FE Armor Knights have no HP stat. With the exception of, like, Douglas, right? And does Wallace have, like, a functional HP stat? Even Hector, who's not an Armor Knight, but is modeled after them, isn't immune from the curse. He doesn't have an opportunity cost, and you can bench him as soon as you do. Yeah, you know, it's the same level as someone like, you know, Board and Cord, or not Board, Cord, Lot and Wade. I got them mixed up with the Arcanea ones. Or, you know, look at someone like, you know, to use a more modern example, like Clonan from... You got Brave Sword. What have you got? The Earthquake. Okay. Do we count Dusel as a knight? Since he's a great knight, it's impossible to tell, what he promoted from. So, I count that as something different. I also think, like, GBA Armor Knight, it feels like to General. Although Gilliam obviously does not want to go General. But that's a good point / question. Amelia goes general for the memes. Yeah, I guess that's the question, chat, is like, do we count Dusel as an armor? Because if so, he's in contention for the best armor in the franchise, right? Right up there with people like Oswin, Effie, fucking... I mean, people will hate me for saying it, but like, Louis in that conversation. And no, this is not like Louis best unit in the entire game propaganda or whatever. But I feel like Louis is one of those units who got, like, overglazed, and then people started to realize, oh, soloing the game with Louis is not actually possible, therefore bad unit. Because it's not possible to have any amount of, you know, nuance in Fire Emblem discussion. Boris and Oswin aren't that far off in stats. I think they're not as close as your comment would make it seem. I know the enemy quality between 6 and 7 is, you know, it's a pretty extreme difference. But Oswin, well, not only does he start out with, like, good base speed, he has good base HP, right? Hold on. During enemy phase, I'll pull up their stats for comparison. All I know is that in FE7 0% growths, Oswin was still fucking doubling people in the chapter where you're defending fainted nils. Right? So, like, doubling and one rounding. Which, like, that is also an FE7 enemy quality moment. Don't get it twisted. Alright, Ninian. FE6 Boars. FE7 Oswin. Because, like, Hector's held back by the low HP. Yeah, Oswin has 28 HP. That's... I don't know what the fuck you're smoking when you say Oswin and Boars have similar stats. Okay. HP. Boars is at 20, Oswin's at 28. Strength. Boars has 7 strength. Oswin has 13! Almost double! 4 skill versus 9 skill, 3 speed versus 5 speed, and general promotion bonuses, of course, is what pushes it over the edge. 4 luck versus 3 luck, so Boars has better luck. 11 defense versus 13 defense, 0 res versus 3 res. I absolutely remembered them wrong. Oswin only has 2 more defense, but he has 8 more HP, so he's, like, even in the bulk department, it's not particularly close, right? Frederick is amazing. I'll retract my statement about Ephraim Dusel. We do know what class Freddy promoted from, though. Because, Awakening has class skills. Does Frederick have defense +2 or discipline? Because I don't remember, but we should be able to tell what class Frederick's from based on that. He has discipline. Okay. So Freddy the Fast Bear. Yeah, he doesn't count as an armor because he's born Cav. So, like, while we cannot judge the Sacred Stone units on what their base class is, all of the other split promo games, except for Engage, we can. Because Engage doesn't have unpromoted class skills. So we still don't know, you know, what chapter or what class certain Engage units were in. But for the most part, the split promos do not overlap. You know, like for example, Bunet, we know Bunet was an armor because Cavs don't promote to Great Knight. Cavs promotion options are Wolf Knight and Paladin. The only ones that overlap is like Hero, right? What about Rosado? I mean, it's Sky Knight. It's Sky Knight. Or do you mean because of the gender stuff? Because Sky Knight is a female-only class. I mean, I think that just proves he's the trans man, right? Like, simple as that. We know everyone except for Goldmary. Yeah, is there any other overlapping class promotion? I don't think so. I think it is literally just Goldmary. 33. McAllis moment. Yeah, McAllis is also a trans man. Fucking Brave Lance. Reverse recruitment makes him an axe peg. That's cool. GNC icon Transmask Rosado. Yeah, you know, you've got the egg culture war talking about how, oh, Rosado's a trans woman. Meanwhile, the based in truthers, actually, Rosado's a trans man. And I guess under that headcanon, it means that Pegasus Knights just accept the gender you present as, right? You know, Rosado didn't realize he was a man until he promoted, at which point the Pegasus said, good for you, also fuck off, never ride me again, bitch. I'm so happy for you, now fuck off forever. It's a weird comment to enter on. Hubert in the corner, he wants to be a Pegasus Knight. Do y'all think Hubert is trans? I'll be honest, I don't buy the theory. Transphobic flying horses is crazy. No, it's the opposite of transphobic flying horses. They're trans accepting. They just hate men. Unless your name is Tsubaki. Does this prove that Tsubaki is actually he, him, non-binary? I buy it. Is there a reason why they can rescue men in GBA titles? Well, so in that situation, the man is not actually riding the Pegasus Knight, it's a totem bull situation. This is why Farina has such bad aid, and Florida has such bad aid, is because they're doing a fucking piggyback where if they rescue, like if Florida rescues Hawkeye, Hawkeye's like on her shoulders. And she's just getting fucking crushed. That's how rescuing works. That's why female units have worse aid. We've solved the sexism problem. Say that to Vida. Vida just has Vida's not actually, like, weak, right? Vida could rescue everyone on your team. She just doesn't fucking want to. My translation of Thracia says that Karen's peg is fine allowing men to be rescued. That is something that was added by the localization. It's not part of Kaga's original vision. So it will be stricken from the record. Vida rescues me. She's so real for that. TFW Muscle Lady rescues you and then steps on you. Ooh, ooh. Oh, whoa. ADMLR. It was 5 games. Macho was the first Axe woman. What? That Thunder Tome when the Hoplon is on the other side. Oh, also, we killed Hestia's shitty dad. So, everyone celebrate that. He was one of the Dragoons on the right-hand side. The Dragooners. It was Lachesis. Yeah, everyone forgets Lachesis can use the Brave Axe. Although I do think that's like one of those cheater answers that it's technically correct, which is the best kind of correct, but I do think it's a bit of a cheater answer because, like, let's be so fucking honest, who's using axes on her? Probably the same crazy people that use axes on Machua, because holy shit, have you seen that girl's con? What about Maria from Final Fantasy II? True! Yo, I'm playing through FF4 now. It's interesting. The origins of the ATB system. Honestly, way earlier than I expected. I thought ATB started, like, in the modern era, right? I thought that's what people didn't like, is like, it's not real Final Fantasy anymore. Maybe we just need someone with enough res that if they get crit, it's not a big deal. 31 versus... Who has... We'll barrier up Ophelia. Just dodge SMH. Feels like a bit of a waste of a barrier staff, but we got 9 uses left and only 3 maps. Is that the Cecil one? It is. I'm very early on, by the way, so no spoilers. I just beat basically the first dungeon. Anna Fire Emblem is dead now. That's the most recent plot thing to have happened. Heracles, I don't fucking trust you. Feels like a strange spot between the NES titles and the later ones. Yeah, there's some weirdness. I mean, I'll talk about it in the video. But there's some weirdness. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's cool, though. I like seeing, you know, how things evolve, right? Story's great for how early it is. Yeah, I am unfortunately, I'm playing on the official translation, so while I'm still enjoying the story, I would be lying if I said, like, the sort of clunkiness with the way text boxes work in the official translation didn't take me out of it. This is the first one that I've, like, well, I played FF1 on the NES, but, like, lol. But because, like, I can't really do NES graphics with my migraines, this is the first one I'm playing, like, on the original hardware. I played the NES versions of both 2 and 3, just not to completion for either. Break into wall, break into wall. But I'm enjoying it so far, you know? So these 2 chests are kind of like not a huge deal to BH. One of them is a second Feely shield, and if you'll notice, I haven't even fielded. Well, I guess Demeter's fielded. But I haven't fielded a second flyer, right? And the other one's a second Hoplon guard, and that is actually a big deal. I wish we had it for this map. Alright, 2 chances to hit a 96. Let's go, old man gaming. What turn is it? I don't know. We haven't used a save state yet. I sort of haven't been keeping track because we're at a point where it doesn't super matter a lot. But I probably should be. I should at least save state. I should at least wait for a save state turn before going upstairs, right? How do the stairs work? Basically like Fate stairs, except for you can't go up and down them multiple times per turn. Like, the only difference is if you go up the stairs, you can't go down until next turn. But otherwise, it's just like the Fates ones. You can go backwards the same turn in Fates. I didn't remember that. Yeah, in order to, like, test, you can go up and then, like, realize, oh, fuck, I can't do this, and you go back down. There's no, like, Canto Plus, right? So it's not useful for, like, actual tactic reasons, but if you want to test, like, a battle forecast, and then the battle forecast turns out to be not what you wanted, then you can still go back down. Ice Spear, 26 attack, 15 res. Okay, so you go here. Luna. You get double, 26. It's 11 times 2. I think that's right. My mind went to the stairs in Chapter 3 of Embers Entwined when I first played, but this Fate stair is probably a better comparison. I still haven't played EE. I need to start working on the CC video. I kind of been neglecting that because Final Fantasy is so awesome that I haven't really been doing as much Fire Emblem stuff, and then when I do, it's the stuff that takes less effort. I love the reviews, but they are, I wouldn't say they're low-effort content, but the slideshow nature of them means that the edit is a lot less work, which makes them more appealing for me. Like, I like not having to do a big ol' edit. That crescent do be cerulean. Yeah, the other thing about the cerulean crescent video is I gotta figure out how I want to talk about the story. Because it's no secret that I did not vibe with the story. It actually, like, it brought the game down for me. I stopped my replay because I was like, I felt, like, weird about it, right? But I also, like, and I want to express that, right? I want to make it clear why I didn't care for the story as well. Because I feel like, especially on stream, there were a lot of people who... My distaste for the story got, I would say, frustratingly framed as... Oh, Danny just doesn't like it because she doesn't like the long stories. She wants the story to be quick and snappy, like Merm Emblem type deal. And it's like, no, I mean, there's a reason Hag was, like, not just my favorite hack of 2025, but one of my favorite hacks ever, right? It's the story stuff, right? And that story is long, and that story is good. But I have, like, very specific issues with the CC story. But at the same time, it is a work made by one person. I mean, like, you know, obviously, not to discredit, you know, spriters and testers and everything's a collaborative effort, right? But ultimately, made for free by one person, like, there's a certain amount where it starts to feel like ragging on something is just mean-spirited, you know? Do you not vibe with being evil? No, I'm fine with being evil. I just thought the story was poorly written. I mean, I went over it a bunch on stream. I mean, I had a bunch of rants about it, but the idea of just, like, quote-unquote, subverting expectations for the purpose of doing it. The plot and lore is stored in battle quotes. That's... The plot just doesn't fucking respect the viewer. That's just all it is. Like, it wastes your time with all this bullshit, and then it's like, wouldn't it be funny if we spent, like, an hour introducing this character conflict, and then just had rocks fall, and one half of them dies? I hope you weren't fucking invested in this story, because I sure as shit wasn't. That feels like the message from the game itself. Do you think the FE format would work with rhythm elements? Be interesting. I bounced off of Necrodancer because I am white. So I don't have the rhythm. Rocks don't fall anywhere in CC. Have you not heard that expression before? I can't tell if you just haven't heard the expression rocks fall and everyone dies. Or if you're denying that the game engages in its favorite fucking trick, the way that it resolves every goddamn plot line. Because every plot line, almost every plot line, you know, let's not face the literalism allegations, but it resolves with random non sequitur kills and fixes everything. 27. You got 17, right? 20. Stop turning turn-based games into action games. It's the most accessible game format. Stop making things worse for people with motor function disabilities. Yeah, I mean, like, that is also, I guess, you know, part of the issue I have with the sort of the seeming disdain for, you know, turn-based as a genre or type or whatever. To be clear, I don't have, like, a motor disability. Like, I just don't have rhythm is my personal, reason why it doesn't work for me. But, it is also, like, it's weird because it's one of those things where, like, this is one of my big, and I'll get more into it in the FF4 video, one of my big issues with the ATB system is they went through the effort of adding weight, the weight version, but the weight version goes, like, not all the way, which is really strange. It only pauses the ATB timer when you're in a sub-menu, which makes me wonder why they bothered doing it at all if they weren't gonna just have it pause as soon as it fills. And it doesn't add, like, a lot of difficulty, right? At least for me. But it just feels like such a bizarre decision to not just do the thing that, you know, Bravely Default 2 does, where it also runs on the ATB meter, but as soon as the meter fills for any character, it pauses, so you can take as much time as you want menuing. And, you know, whether that's for accessibility reasons, or just because you need to spend time thinking because it's a very strategically deep game, I do think that's, you know, additive, right? And so it's weird. I know that for a lot of people, like the people who defend ATB system, part of the defense is also like, well, I only play on action mode because, you know, the Final Fantasy IV is a very simple game, so it's not like you have to spend, like, a ton of time thinking about the stuff, so it adds difficulty, and that's cool, like, if that's what you like, right? I'm not even saying that that's, like, wrong. But I do think it's very strange that, as I say, it feels like they went halfway. It just feels like a bad implementation of the idea. Isn't there an option to make the ATB work like that? Well, that's what I'm talking about, is the weight version, it doesn't. It goes halfway. ...30 attack, brave. It pauses only in submenus. So, you know, I'll get more into it with, like, more scripted out thoughts. But it's just something I was thinking about as I was going to bed, is how strange that choice is. And I don't even think that it's, like, you know, malicious in an ableist way or whatever. Ophelia looks like a lot more fun in 0% growths. Paper Mario is the only good turn-based RPG because you hit A when you attack. I mean, I do think action commands add a lot to solving the, like, kind of turn off your brain problem. That whether or not it's a problem is, I guess, debatable, right? But I think giving you something to do, like, on your turn, it's also fun to play the little Mario Party minigames, right? Yo, the Devil Axe backfire! I think action commands in the Mario RPGs and E33 turn it into a different subgenre. I would argue no, personally. I understand the perspective. Like, I understand why you might come to that conclusion. But I personally do not agree with it, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think it would be similar to saying that, you know, like, crafting elements or a level up tree or other mechanics that, like, do have a fundamental impact on the gameplay loop, but I would argue are not enough to call something a completely different genre. Thing is, in Ether 3, you don't need to ever use it to beat the game. You can brute force by ignoring. I mean, that's also true in Paper Mario, though. The no action command challenge run. The thing is, with most games, you can actually ignore a lot of mechanics. $18 40 fucking 3 attack. What gender is Kyra? Kyra's a woman, I believe. At the very least, she uses she, her pronouns, you know? So I think that's probably a safe assumption. Chrono Trigger's like the best game for the ATB bar. Does he not take Sagiel effective damage anymore? Is Dolus immune from Sagiel effectiveness now? He has Nullify. I forgot. Boss having Nullify checks out. Yeah, I just forgot. I think that was even in version 1.0. I forgot because I one-rounded with Fazang in my first playthrough. Just in case. I'm pretty sure, like, this is just guaranteed, but... Do we do a Pate kill? I mean, can we even? I don't think so. Yeah, chat, no. That ain't happening. Like, we doing this. I gotta drink a little, so I'm just gonna, like, scroll through this so y'all can read at your leisure if you want. Fiend of my own creation. Fazang is the fiend of his own creation. We did it! We won the game! It's the most unconvincing lie you've ever told.